Hey there, Insect Nerds. Welcome back to another Insect Nerd podcast. My name is Zara Breeden, and today I will be going through the first part of external structure with you. I will cover other animal stuff as well, by the way. It's just because as I probably mentioned in the other podcast, I like to talk about other animals too, because I love all animals and I'm very passionate for their welfare and care and health, etc. But I mainly talk about insects because I keep a load of them and I like sort of studying them and studying their growth and development. I actually find it so intriguing how they shed and how they grow into something new and amazing and colourful even sometimes. Last time I sort of talked about how, I introduced myself. And then I sort of talked about the roles of insects and a little bit about the insect body. Today we're going to go in depth and we're going to go to the external part, so part 1. So if you haven't listened to my podcast before, I would go to the first one and listen to that. If you don't want to, that's fine. You're just going to have to sort of catch up quite quickly. That's fine as well. In this one, there's a lot of sort of diagram description. It's going to be hard, obviously, because I am speaking to you. I'm not showing you a picture. But fear not, my website, www.theinsectnerd.co.uk, has got some fantastic diagrams on there because I have written a information page about the external structure, part 1 on there too. So you can have a look at that too if you're uncertain or you think I speak too quickly, because I know I do. Joking. So if you want to have a look in there as well as listen to my voice, then yeah, please go there. And they've got some other information on there too. So that's all quite exciting. But anyway, let's leap straight in, shall we? Because I'm known to ramble a lot, unfortunately. But so a lot of people, it's excitement, okay? So what we will sort of be talking about is exoskeletons. So insects, arachnids and crustaceans, they do have exoskeletons. Obviously we are just talking about insects here. Forget about crustaceans and arachnids. The thing we are talking about is insects. That's my thing, that's my jam. But we just sort of talk about exoskeletons and what they are. So exoskeletons are sort of the outer skeleton of an insect. So last time I said about us having a skeleton inside, but can you imagine having it on the outside? That's what insects have. They have a skeleton on the outside. So sort of the exoskeleton sort of is made up of sort of circular plates called, right, are you ready? Big word alert. Scalerites. I'm not sure if I pronounced that properly. I can spell it, but saying it, sometimes pronouncing things, is quite hard. So I'm sorry about that. Scalerites are made from chitin. So scalerites are the circular plates that make the exoskeleton. And the scalerites themselves are made from chitin. So the exoskeleton covers the entire body. And it consists of, so this is what's inside the exoskeleton. So the epidermis, the procuticle, the epicuticle, and the base membrane. So they're the 4 key things you need to remember, really. They are very important. They have very important functions within the exoskeleton of the exoskeleton. For example, the epidermis is a secretory tissue, which is responsible for creating the majority of the inner membrane. The procuticle exists just above the epidermis. It is made of microfibers which are entwined in protein. The epicuticle prevents water loss and prevents foreign particles from entering the insect. It is situated on the outside of the cuticle. Inside the epicuticle, you'll find lipoproteins and fatty acids. The basement membrane is located at the bottom and provides the exoskeleton with extra support. So those are sort of the main things you need to remember. So the epidermis, the procuticle, the epicuticle, the basement membrane. It's all on there if you want to sort of brush up and think, I can't remember what she said. It's on my website. So yeah, you can always research on there. moving quite quickly now. I apologise, but I only have a certain amount of space on my podcast, so you will just have to sort of bear with me if I'm a bit fast. I'm really sorry, but as I said, the information is on my website. So the insect body, as we covered last time, consists of the head, the thorax and the abdomen. But going into depth of this is inside the thorax, actually within the thorax is 3 other segments. So in the thorax, there's the prothorax, which is sort of the start of the thorax, the mesothorax, which is the middle of the thorax, and the metathorax, which is the end of the thorax. So that's just sort of a little bit more in depth from last time. So we're going to go to the insect head now. Now, there is a front and a back, but I'm only going to do the front because it's quite hard to describe the back, and I think the front's a good starting point for now. If I want to go through the back with you, I will probably do it on a separate podcast, or probably not. Just going through the front, I feel, is a bit easier. So we've got sort of on the front, there's loads of different sort of features on the front, but I'm just going to go through a few, the main ones for me that I think are really important. So the vertex is sort of the top of the head, and it is separated by something called the ecodicil cleavage suture. The Austelli, so these people get these confused with their compound eyes actually, because there are normally 3 of these on an insect. Normally they are on top of the head. They are known to be the simple eyes of an insect. So, but they can also be sort of located at the top of the frons, which is sort of the middle of an insect's face. But they are also found many other places. So, yeah. So they are basic photoreceptors, really. They have a singular lens, just like our eyes. However, the compound eyes are better than the Austelli at sensing solid elements within the insect's environment. Austelli are sort of better for picking up movement. So the next, compound eyes, they're the big, huge eyes. So I've got a picture of a mantis on my website, and it's Henry. Yeah. It's not Moonlight, it's Henry. I've got Moonlight and Henry, so yes. But the compound eyes, basically, they consist of some minuscule, tiny things called ommatiae. These contain a number of photoreceptors units. Within the photoreceptor unit, there is a cornea, lens, and photoreceptor cells. Photoreceptor cells are responsible for detecting colour and brightness in an insect's environment. And the cervix is actually the insect's neck, which has made me laugh at the first sort of time of hearing it. I'm sorry, immature much. Now the next one, actually, people get really confused with this. So the mandibles and maxillae, they always get confused what to call them, which is fair enough, because before I started doing all this, I had the same problem. So, you know, they are actually very different, but they have similar uses. So mandibles, so these are to sort of shred food apart. So these are located just below the mouth, and they're used to sort of chomp all the food up. Maxillae, so the maxillae are located behind the mandibles and are used to hold food in place so that the mandibles can be ready to sort of slice and dice the insect's food. Antennae, so there's so many different types of antennae, but the most common type of antennae is the filiform. So there are, you know, so many different types, as I said. And gennae, the cheeks. So the cheeks are sort of the lateral regions on an insect's face. I mean, the gennae are the lateral regions on an insect's face, all known as the cheeks. There's a feature that I really want to mention, which is so important. So this is the tentorium, and it sort of it actually exists inside the insect's head, and its main role is to protect the brain and ensure the mouth is rigid on the insect. It is hard to spot. It's an important part to mention, I feel. So that's just a little bit about the tentorium there. Not too much because it's more external we're talking about today, but I wanted to add that because I find it's quite an important part. Yeah. We've only got a few minutes left, so there are different types of antennae, but I will talk about antennae another time. That will be the second part. I'm going to finish off, but there was a lot of information which seemed a little bit quick fire, but I hope you listened well and got the answers you need. If not, go to my website. There's also other inset information on there, and I will be posting some more stuff. Mobile version is a little bit frustrating, the format, so I'm struggling with that, but I will be posting it soon. I'm starting to work it out, but yeah, it's just a new, it's a website sort of coming into its own, and it's it's starting up, so you will have to give me a chance to set that up, and I will try and do these podcasts weekly, because I think they're very enjoyable. I'm not biased much, am I? Anyway, no, but yeah, thank you for listening, and yeah, I really appreciate it, so thanks, and don't forget to tune in every week or so. Hopefully every week I'll be able to do this. So yeah, thank you very much. Bye.